Greetings, returning residents of the Terror Hotel, and welcome any newcomers. Today we have 2 Halloween horror stories, 1 true and 1 fiction. Special thanks to Alex Wright Stories for their 2 submissions for this video. Our first story is a true one. The Girl That Died in the Well, submitted by Alex Wright Stories. So it was Halloween 2016 and I was having a sleepover at my friend's house, Mark. We went trick-or-treating even though we were 13 at the time. We just did not care. We went to 3 neighborhoods and got 2 pillow bags full of sweets. When we got back to his home around 10:20 p.m., his mom had hot chocolate ready for us to drink and some horror movies like Scream and Paranormal Activity, and then a comedy like Grown Ups, so we can actually sleep. It was a great night. We watched all the movies. Then around 2:30 a.m. I went to the bathroom and Mark told me when I came back that he heard scratching in the living room window. I told him, "Mark, you are just paranoid, that's all." But then I heard the scratching too. That scared me because the scratching sounded like a long fingernail going up and down the new window, which made it more unpleasant for my ears. Then a big bang on the window and Mark and I jumped. We ran down his hallway into his bedroom and shut the door, and locked it. He put on YouTube and played Garfield episodes to make us not think about what just happened. It actually worked until we heard a scream outside his window, and he actually was tearing up, and I went to see what was at the window, and I regret it so much. It was a young but horrifying lady. She had black eyes, white pale skin, a mouth as long as the Scream Mask's mouth, and I pulled the curtains back and laid on the floor in horror. Mark asked me what I saw and I told him. He said that his grandparents used to have a smaller house a couple meters away from where Mark's dad's house is, and they had a well, and her daughter fell into the well and died. So every Halloween she'd come and play with whoever owned the land, which was only owned by the O'Connors, Mark's family. And before he finished, there was a loud bang on the front door that I thought the door would break down. It kept on banging for a good 20 seconds, and then it stopped. When it came around 4 a.m., Mark and I heard the last scream. It was a scream you hear when someone is drowning and screaming for their life. It was the most ear-drenching sound in the world. Then when it hit 4:01 a.m., it stopped, and everything felt like it was normal. And then Mark couldn't stop puking in the toilet because whenever he gets scared to death, he pukes. Then his parents came in and said, "What are you doing up so late?" And I was like, "The girl kept us up." And they shut up and said, "Okay," and made Mark and I a cup of tea. Our next story, The Night the Pumpkin Man Came. Also submitted by Alex Wrights Stories. My name is Izzy Hunter and I live in Greenwood, NC. It's an amazing small town. I love it so much. My friends, my family, and my neighbors are absolutely amazing. It is like that town with the white picket fences and everyone knows each other. Our town has an amazing woods that lead to a creek, and that's where my friends and I go every summer. So it all started when my mom and dad moved from our old house to our new house, which was 10 minutes away from our old house, but more spacious. My room had an amazing view of our local woods. So on the 3rd week of living in our new home, I went to my room to study, and before I knew it, I fell asleep and woke up around 1:20 a.m. because of a scratching noise from my ceiling. I was confused since my brother Zach was living in the attic, since it was converted into an ensuite bedroom. And I texted him to stop scratching because he was scaring me. He texted me back saying, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm in my bed watching YouTube." And I freaked out, because that means that there might have been rats or something in our pipes. So I told my dad that morning, but he did not believe me, as he hired the local rodent control before we moved in so we could be safe in our new home. My mind went somewhere else and I forgot about the scratching. It was around 12:46 a.m. when my brother texted me saying that he heard noises in his closet, but he was too afraid to check it. So maybe the older sister went upstairs to his room and looked in his closet, and I found deep scratches in the ground, underneath his boxes of shoes. I fell back because I heard a shh in my ear, and I quickly closed his closet and told him everything was fine and nothing was in there, which calmed him, and I went to my room. I woke up to a big bang from my window, and I quickly jumped out of bed and opened the curtains to no avail. There was nothing there. Absolutely nothing. No scary creature, no scary man, no branches from the trees, no nothing. I went back to my comfy bed and fell back to sleep. The next morning, my brother came up to me and asked me what the Big Bang was last night, and I literally stood there in fear. I thought it might have been my mind messing with me. I told him that I dropped my phone to the ground, and that's what the Big Bang sound was. He nodded and ate his cereal. A couple of days passed, and nothing happened until Friday night. So I came back from high school and done my homework and helped my mom in the kitchen cooking our dinner. I went upstairs to watch some Netflix on my MacBook, and when I looked at the time, it was 8:10 p.m. So I went downstairs for dinner, then rushed back upstairs to my room so I could start watching the next episode of The Vampire Diaries. I was rewatching the series. I closed my MacBook so I could get some sleep and checked the time. It was 2:34 a.m. So I fell asleep. Then I abruptly woke up to my brother saying there was a pumpkin man in my closet. And I replied with, "Go back to sleep. It was just a nightmare." Which he replied to, No, I swear on the Bible it was not a dream." Then we heard a quiet but manly laugh from his bedroom. I got up from bed and ran up the stairs, and he followed too. When I reached his bedroom, all I saw in the darkness was 2 glowing orange eyes, and then a mortifying laugh. And then I woke up on the floor with my brother beside me. My brother ran to my parents' room and told them what he and I saw. But they did not believe us, which pissed me off, but I get why they wouldn't believe us. So that Saturday night, my brother slept with me in my bed, and we watched Friends, then fell asleep. I woke up around 3:33 a.m., which freaked me out, but I heard a door creaking in my brother's bedroom, so I went upstairs to check it. I saw a man in a 1920 to 1930 tuxedo with a pumpkin for a head, which I backed up to the hallway wall and quietly sobbed until I saw the pumpkin man go back in my brother's closet, like he walked into the closet without opening the door. The freaking door. I sobbed until my brother woke up screaming, and I ran to my room and saw a scratch mark on his face. It was not bleeding, but it looked like brand new scratches with no blood. How can this happen? I said to myself. And then my brother interrupted me, saying in a shaky voice, saying it was the pumpkin man. Sunday night was the most terrifying night of all. So it was 12 o'clock a.m. as I was studying for a math test the next day and needed to get a B+ or more, or my parents would kill me. So then I heard my brother saying, "Mister, please don't scare me." Then I heard a scream and a bang to the floor, which I got out of bed and tried to open my door, but it felt like it was super glued to each side of the door frame. Until I heard the footsteps upstairs and my door opened. I ran upstairs so fast and saw my brother wearing his Jinko pants, a belt with a white t-shirt on, and wearing a pumpkin mask and having another one of his belts around his neck and standing on his chair saying, "Pumpkin man, oh pumpkin man, I shall become you," over and over again. Until I stopped being paralyzed and ran to him and took the noose, his belt, off his neck and put him in his bed and was shaking him until he woke up from his position. That morning I told my parents, and they told me that they knew the stories we told them about the pumpkin man, and they said they could hear us screaming, and I screamed. They were fully paralyzed all night until my screaming or my brother's stopped, and whenever they tried to talk to us about it, they couldn't. I am so scared to be telling you guys about my story, but I had to share it. If you are new to the Terror Hotel and would like to continue listening to these Terror Hotel stories, then why not click that subscribe button. Also, go and check out Alex Writes Stories on Reddit through the link in the description down below. Have fun trying to sleep tonight.